Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Friday. It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. I won't do that again. Sorry about that. It is Friday, October 20th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, the stock market. We take a look over there at precious metals, the dollar, any type of financial news that is going on, any crypto news. Of course, we'll take a look over here at the Bitcoin price chart. We'll take a peek over there at the XRP price chart and whatever's going on over here in the altcoins and all that good stuff as we kick off the last trading day of the week for the U.S. stock market. But of course, crypto 24 hours, 7 days a week. It will continue on through the weekend, whether we're here or not. But as we are kicking off this Friday, we have a couple of interesting things going on in the crypto world. And then we'll jump over there to the stock market for a little while. Crypto. Where do we start? Do we start with Bitcoin hitting $30,000? Or do we start with the SEC dropping all charges versus Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson? We'll start with Bitcoin. We'll start here with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has hit $30,000 this morning. It currently sits at $29,516 as we get this day going. We'll zoom in right here. So I have recorded an entire video. It is exporting right now. It will be released after Markets in the Morning is complete. You will hear a loud ding. It'll scare the crud out of you whenever it happens. It just means my video is finished exporting. And yeah, it's just going to do that. But anyway, Bitcoin's sitting at 29,500. We've been monitoring, of course, the price action of the last 900 and so days with Bitcoin versus 2014 to 2016. As you know, late October, we've been sitting here waiting for this thing to get moving. It certainly appears to have been doing so, which has been absolutely fantastic. You know, we've been comparing this a lot as well to really just the price behavior we also saw back there in 2020, where we had something very similar to all of this happen. We had kind of a sudden liquidation take place here back in August. As you guys know, prices fall down. Everybody screams for 12K, 23K, 20K, death crosses, bull band's dead, all that stuff, right? And then, you know, what do? We work our way back up in here. That's exactly what we had happen back in 2020, is that we had this. And the thing, if you've followed the channel for a while, I've talked a lot about like when we have like falls, like get ready for people to scream like manipulation to happen. It's a common thing that happens in this market, is people will scream manipulation. And the reason why I've said that is just my memory of this one so well. It happened so fast. It happened so aggressive. You couldn't go anywhere on YouTube or on Twitter and not see people screaming manipulation, manipulation, manipulation. But then everybody screamed, you know, not everybody, of course, I was generalized that, but it was about 50% of polls that were conducted that we were going back down to $3,000 to $4,000 for Bitcoin there in September and October of 2020. That, of course, kick-started the entire bull run at that exact moment for crypto and for Bitcoin leading the charge there. And I've drawn that comparison of the behavior of what we've seen currently right now, that, you know, everybody's fine, everybody's good. You see the liquidation, and then you have 100 content creators and charts and everything like that saying we're going to 12K, 23K, 20K, 16K, whatever, just satisfying the emotional needs of the market at that time. However, prices did not, and price behavior and structure did not represent that. Whether we're looking at 2016, 2014, 15, and 16, or even if you're looking at 2020, the ultimate bull scenario. And crazy as it is so far, you know, this of course does look awfully familiar to 2020, and we'll keep our eyes on that. And I talk about that in today's video that I do release. Right now, Bitcoin does sit back at the retracement level. So that's kind of the thing we're waiting on right now. Can we get a blast through these things? I'll show you. Let me show you this here. There you go. We worked our way back up into those retracement levels, and just because we got there didn't mean we got out that day, right? So we've been butting up against them. There's still some work to do there for Bitcoin for things to start getting exciting in the market. But it is definitely nice to see us work our way back up there because, of course, a lot of the market didn't think that was ever a chance. Selling out at the lows, trying to get lower, trying to take out supports and then get lows. Either way, very, very exciting to see Bitcoin really starting to work its way back up. And we just kind of need to get some more action to happen in here before we can truly turn on the super mega bull thrusters of excitement. I still, of course, just remain cautious until 32,000 is cleared. That's where really I'm allowed to turn that on in this area. I of course have to be just cautious in there as I always am back at the retracement levels, but definitely exciting to see us still behaving as we should and even following, a week behind, really kind of right on schedule for where we should start shifting our way back up in there. So things are looking pretty good over there for Bitcoin. I'm excited to see that price action happening in there and still continuing to follow along with a lot of this idea here, which crazy enough, that was when things got absolutely mad. And then, this thing goes all the way up, right? So imagine right now, right? Imagine where you are right now. And I'm not saying this is happening. Okay. I'm not, because I don't think it will. I don't think we're going above $100,000, but imagine going from right here and then going to $150,000, like suddenly, like in 2 months, right? Imagine all the people calling for 12K right now. Imagine we go to $150,000 in a matter of like 2 months. And then suddenly, like hundreds of thousands of people pour into this market and they all buy Bitcoin right here and they put laser eyes on their profiles, like all these newcomers. That's how crazy 2020 and 2021 was, that it was just like this. It was the screaming for 3 to 4K. We're going back down to the lows again through all of this. And then we go from 10K to 60K and the laser eyes crew arrives. So we'll see if this thing can get itself carried away. I sure hope it does. It would be fantastic, but we still have some work that we have to do here before we can, at least before I can get ridiculously excited. But I have already recorded a 20-minute video that I'll be releasing. XRP. XRP still meandering along sideways in here. Nice to see a little bit of a pop in here for XRP. Now, if you don't know, last night, yesterday afternoon, the news was released that the SEC has dropped all charges versus Brad Garlinghouse and versus Chris Larson. Of course, this is October of 2023. All of these charges were filed in December of 2020. So it's been almost 3 years. It's been 2 years and 10 months that's been hanging over those guys' heads. So that has now been dropped. Bitcoin maxis hopping on any opportunity they can to say, see, they're going to appeal faster. They're going to appeal faster. Okay. Before I got on this live stream, I'm like, who's going to be the ones buying the bags off people at $9, right? Who's going to be that? It's going to be them. It's going to be them for sure. No doubt about it. All their audiences who are just doing all that for all this time, when it finally goes and they all realize, well, wait a minute, maybe it was something. That they're the only one to get, XRP is the only one that has the labeling of not a security in the cryptocurrency market in the court of law. And then, for the interlocutory appeal to get denied, and then for the charges against Brad and Chris to get dropped, or as Stuart Alderati had stated, this isn't a dismissal, this is a surrender by the SEC. So great to see that. Obviously nothing huge has happened here. Like, my thoughts still remain the same, that we've got to see Bitcoin get some juice going. We got to see Bitcoin lead the way for XRP to start getting its way out of here. We've watched multiple things in regards to news happen for XRP, but it still has been tied to the crypto market in general. We got our big massive candle when XRP was declared not a security by Judge Torres in her ruling. And, we got this little pop right here when the SEC got denied their interlocutory appeal. Maybe it was this one. I think maybe it was that one right there. But now, and then, we get another pop right here as the charges against Brad and Chris get dismissed, or as the SEC surrenders on that. But all of these things are great. This builds up. I was in a Twitter space last night with John Deaton, Jeremy Hogan, XRP, the Standard Productions, XRPP, lots of other people in there. Who's in there? Mikkel, Ray Fuentes. I'm sorry if I can't remember who else was in there at the time. But Jeremy Hogan made some really good points in there, and he was just saying, if you don't realize, this case is over, it's done. If he says, if this was my case, I'd pretty much be filing it away. My assistants would pretty much be handling all the other little paperwork and filings and all the other little things that happen beyond here. But the case is essentially over. The only thing really left in here is, how much of a fine is Ripple going to pay, and what can they come to an agreement on in regards to institutional sales. So that once that's done, all the real dark clouds are over us. It's really just Ripple needing to pay their fine at this point for what the judge did deem as a securities offering, which would have been the institutional sales. However, XRP, the actual asset, is not a security and is free to be traded on secondary markets, right? So as we know, we saw all the exchanges relist it and everything is good to go. But of course, we're still just a asset tied to the crypto market and need liquidity. So keeping an eye on Bitcoin. Hopefully we can get some type of breakout in here to send this market rampaging. And XRP's got all the fundamental things going for it to not have that dark cloud hanging. And then that speculation and curiosity of, well, how high can it really get? So we'll see. We'll see what happens here, waiting for Bitcoin. And then I think that's when we would really start seeing a whole lot more movement over there on XRP. As for the stock market, looks like a little bit of improvement from what it was in pre-market. Now that we have this up and running, let's take a look. Coinbase leading the way, followed by Netflix and Nvidia and Ford. Losers of the morning, Tesla again down 1.4%, not nearly as bad as yesterday's negative 10%, with Caterpillar and Amazon. Nothing huge though in here. It looks like long duration yields have taken a step back this morning. That's good to see. The market has been pretty panicked over those things happening because it's kind of like a tightening cycle on its own that the Fed doesn't really have to do. Yesterday, this actually had dropped. So we're at 98.4% that the Fed is going to be paused during the next interest rate hike, which takes place in 12 days, which is on November 1st. At one point yesterday, after Jerome Powell had speaked, this thing had gone to 99% of a pause and a 0% chance of a hike. And we actually were at 1% chance that we would see a rate cut at the next meeting. Looks like now this morning it has shifted itself back. 98% chance of a pause, 1% chance of a rate hike. But yeah, there you go on that. So looks like the pause is still in effect. And we'll see what Jerome Powell has to say there on November 1st when that time does come around. So that's, long duration yields taking a step back today, which is a good thing for markets in general. Gold and silver up again today as the DXY still pulling back slightly. Right, DXY, big rampage to the upside. It is now since just really kind of cooled off here after that 50% retracement took place there. We watched that happen live when that 50% got hit here in markets in the morning. We've been falling ever since September of 2022. We hit this bottom here in July of 2023, retraced 50%, and then now we have just paused out in here. So looking to see now, do we get a further break after this would have been a fall and a retrace? Can we go ahead and turn ourselves over and continue a downtrend after we did have a lower low get put in place right in here? So lower low, retrace, lower high, can we get a lower low now and turn that trend around? Waiting to get some confirmation on that after a 50% retracement. Gold sitting at 1978, just rampaging here for these past 2 weeks. Looks like we are back at another resistance level for gold at this point. Again, for me with gold, it's a big inverse relationship between gold and the equity markets when it comes to actual breakouts and actual bull runs. You do not see both of them go into bull runs together. You can see both of them fall together. But when it comes to a bull run, like a big multi-year bull run, it's one or the other. Either gold's rocking or the stock market is rocking. But we can definitely see a lot of correlated price action happening in a range. And we've been in this range now for over 3 years now. So there's still no trending behavior that has happened here for gold as of yet, nor with the stock market. So it's still just kind of a lot of noise waiting for one to break one way and the other one to break another way. But definitely a big fat move back up here in gold. However, it is at a resistance level right now. We'll see what happens there. As for that, I think that really kind of covers everything of where we're at. Big move over there in Bitcoin this morning, hitting that 30K level. Now just wanting to get through retracements, right? So back through all of them, back through all daily moving averages, back through weekly moving averages, right? There's your 200-week moving average. It's now back above. Here's all your daily. Let's get on the daily time frame. There you go. There's all your daily time frames, right? There's our death cross. That marks our bottom as it typically does. We get through all of them. So we are through the 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages, and we are through the 200-week moving average currently right now. Biggest headwind currently right now, you see it, the retracement. We are deep into it, and this is not the place to get ridiculously excited just yet as we are here. We typically do find a lot of resistance come in these levels, but also what can be very exciting is getting through them can send the thing absolutely ripping and roaring. So we're kind of at that level of biting those fingernails. Here we are. We're at the retracements. Can we just get an absolute plow through them and send the market rampaging? And of course, that is what I'm cheering for after battling the 12Kers and the 20Kers and 16Kers for the last couple of months. We made it, boys! And the very limited amount of girls that are here, we made it. Whew, what a fight. We did it. Okay, moving on to news in the market. Looking over here on CoinDesk, I have not gone through the news, so we'll go through this together. Bitcoin and XRP gain. SEC drops charges against Ripple leaders. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried's trial is on pause until next week. Oh, okay, it's Friday. SEC likely to approve spot Bitcoin ETF in next few months, says JP Morgan. Dangle that carrot. Just keep waving it. Give me. How about that? Right. All right. XRP registers biggest single day gain in 3 months after the SEC drops charges against Ripple's leaders. Let's go. Community reacts to the SEC dropping XRP case and library shutdown. This will be our last post. Library throws in the towel against the SEC. Crypto exchange Binance restores Euro services after finding new fiat partners. Ether hiding, why hackers may prefer Binance's BNB smart chain, and Ethereum restaking blockchain innovation or dangerous house of cards. Moving over to financial media, broader financial markets. Stock futures slip as 10-year treasury yield crosses 5% for the first time. I think it has since pulled back since the market is open. Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX allies secretly poured $50 million into dark money groups, evidence shows. Solar stocks tumble to 3-year low as SolarEdge drops 25% on demand warning. Wait, you're telling me people don't want to spend $50,000 to put solar panels on top of their house? That's crazy. Or put a lien on their house? Or take on a massive note? Fed's Raphael Bolstick doesn't foresee rate cuts coming until late 2024. Hey, by all means, that's fine. It's those rate cuts that have typically meant there are serious problems in the market. A pause has historically been okay. All right, moving over here. Last one, Bloomberg. What's going on here? Of course, more Israel stuff. There's no way. TXMC put a really good point. I mean, just your edge that you're going to get from reading these news on Israel, you are not. Why feed this to us? How are we supposed to know? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, there's stuff going on in Israel still. And I'm not here to sound sympathetic, but this is financial news, right? Is what we're trying to do. I don't know how we're going to be able to decipher anything that comes in the news to financial media, unless something very significant happened. Amex profits hit record as customers flock to pricey cards. Rebuffing Exxon paid off handsomely for shale oil's Pioneer. PIMCO is selling debt it bought from banks for a premium. Jim Jordan seeks a third speaker vote despite growing opposition. Okay. Politics, they're still trying to get a House speaker for the House of Representatives and just struggling to get it done. So, all right. There we go, guys. That's it. Bitcoin hits 30K. Entire market is green today. Let's take a look over there at the stock market again to see how it's holding up as the day is going. Coinbase still leading the way, the biggest leader today of over 3%. NASDAQ is down 6 points, which is 0.05%. The Dow is down 16 points, which is 0.05%. And the S&P is down 4.9 points, which is negative 0.11%. So a pretty flat day. Decent sized day over here for silver at 23.29. And then it looks like gold now is back above 1980, sitting at 1982.70. So there we have it. And the big question throughout the weekend will be, can Bitcoin keep shuffling its way up to get through retracement levels now? Because that is where we are currently today. And you can see there can be some significant pausing that takes place at the retracement levels. As we watched all week, we were looking to see if we could hold above 28K, because that's what we did in here. We sure enough have, holding above 28K. Now, I think the things that I'd be like, kind of going, of course, if we get through all the retracement levels, hey, I'm super excited. But when it comes to having to fight through these can sometimes take a little bit of time. And kind of keeping thoughts in mind of like, hey, is this kind of like, did we get carried away here? Because what happened here is we were already breaking out. This is happening prior to the fake BlackRock, iShares, Bitcoin ETF spot ETF. We were already breaking out, and then that fake news happened, right? So we shoot all the way up here, right? But this is more organic, right? This is not news-driven oriented that's happening here for Bitcoin. So like, would we have just paused out here, right? Would we have just paused at the 618 retracement level had it not been for that fake news actually happening? And then now we're giving one more push back up in here into the retracement levels. And then there's still more consolidation that has to take place in here. I think that's very reasonable and possible to occur here. So that's why I'm refraining from being like ridiculously bullish at this exact moment. Of course, I'm bullish in general. I'm excited, and I'm really just taming myself of being like, hey, maybe we stop for a week or two or something like that. Hey, that was my video finishing exporting. But, we could just pause here for a minute, and that would be completely fine and normal for that to occur. But here we go. I don't think most people thought we were going to get through the 50, 100, 200 day moving averages and back through the 200 week moving average. And here we are, rock and roll. So all good stuff happening in here on this Friday. And what we'll try to do is we'll try to get through markets in the morning a little bit faster today so I can get that video release that I've already put together and that you just heard go ding, that it is finished exporting. Otherwise, let's see if we can, in the video, we're going to talk a lot about, 2016 has obviously been our case here. In a circumstance like this, things are just pretty tame when it comes to like Bitcoin dominance or when it comes to altcoins. There's not just like massive things that end up happening. But if we are in a scenario more like this, right, you do see Bitcoin dominance roar up, but it actually means like we're only within the next several months are like the most exciting times you can get for crypto. Whereas if we follow something that is like 2016, it's still a ways to go. There's still more grinding that has to happen before anything really substantial comes of this market. And I'll show all those things and I'll show all those comparisons. We'll talk about Bitcoin dominance. We'll talk about the breakouts happening in here, getting beyond that safety trade happening in here, right? We know the safety trade is just done. It's just done. Now the question is, are we in that ABC? Are we in that moment of where it's like the euphoria kicking in for the market and the excitement of the market kicking in after everybody gets shaken out and sold the low? I can't tell you how many times I saw it on Twitter from major accounts and thousands of likes on them that were going to 12K. I mean, how many times did you see it on Twitter? You had to see it 100 bajillion times. That's exactly what happened in 2020. Exactly. How many times the arrow pointed down to 3K and how many people wanted it. And it's emotional management, right? So, all right, we're back there. Fingers crossed. Let's go, baby. Let's have a good weekend. All right, let's dive into the chat, you guys. Blockchain Backer, have you ever released a video while doing a live stream? Now, that would be cool. Don't judge if I don't know how it works. I was born in 1972. I have done it. And essentially, I'm competing with myself when I do it. We got 2,000 people in here watching the live stream. If you guys could hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. But, you release a video, 500 people leave. They're like, all right, peace out. I'm going to go watch that video. But all right, let's go ahead and hop into the chat. Happy Friday, everybody. Like I said, I started a new thing with my daughter because she wanted me to do it because my brother-in-law does it to my nephew. Hey, wake up. It's Monday. Still 5 days till the weekend. But and then wake up, it's Wednesday, only 2 days to go. Or hey, wake up, it's Friday, let's go. And then I play that dingus Rebecca Black song for her. It's Friday. All right, happy Friday, everybody. Andy Philpott gifted 1 BCB membership. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Oscar Hernandez, man, very generous. Thank you. Super chat goal. Let's go, man. Thank you, Oscar. I always appreciate it, man. You're amazing every day. Philip Mann gifted a BCB membership. Thank you, Philip. I appreciate it. Guarev Gulati, can you do an intro and say hi to Aria and Ariana, my daughters? They watch every morning. Thank you for all you do. We really love you for it. Have a great weekend, BCB. Aria and Ariana. Cool. Let's do it. I hope that they have a wonderful day. Congrats, kids. You made it through the week. It's time for the weekend. So, hey, what's going on, Aria? And what's going on, Ariana? It's a blockchain backer. Have a wonderful weekend. All right, Andy Philpott. Super chat. Super sticker, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Andy says, good morning, Aria and Ariana. Both long-time listening. Mom said hi. Dale Edgecombe, first live in a few weeks. I used to be here every day. Guess the market is getting boring. I'm still holding my bags and sending positive vibes, BCB. Thank you, Dale. Yeah, no doubt about it. This has been a brutal time period. Somebody was asking yesterday, hey, we're getting a video today. And it was like, it's gotten to a point where it's like, do we put out quantity or do we put out quality? Because the more time that elapses, the more boring things get, the more absurd YouTube videos you see out there with all the titles. Oh my gosh, boom, unbelievable, the hidden secrets, it's gonna happen, the secret ledger, the secret buybacks, right? When things get like so drawn out and nothing's going on, it gets really just silly for the sake of putting out quantity. And so I've opted not to put out quantity and try to go just with quality, but still showing up every single day, right? We're here on Markets in the Morning every single day, whether the day is great or the day is absolutely horrendous. We're here every single day. But fortunately, we have some things to talk about right now. So we will get, I do have videos coming out today. So to kick off the end of the week and head into the weekend. So, okay. There we go. Thank you, Dale. Oscar. Market Maper, Oscar Hernandez says, Oscar, you're like famous now. You know that? On Twitter, I've been seeing it. People are like, oh my gosh, I'm following the famous Oscar Hernandez, or I'm being followed by the famous Oscar Hernandez. All right, Oscar says, market makers, flip the switch, please. Do it for Blockchain Trucker in New York City and hit the like while doing it. Yeah, there we go. Got everybody in the chat saying it. Hit the like button. Even Christina Johnson in there saying hit the like. Thank you. Thank you. Snoopy IRL, new member, welcome. There we go. So, all right, we'll run through these things again. And I hope you all are just having a good, you should be having a good day today. It's just a positive price action and positive narratives are out there today. You should be feeling all right today as Bitcoin's up about $1,000 and the charges against Brad and Chris have been dropped, almost entirely removing the cloud. It's not like, with Brad and Chris, for me, it's kind of like, well, that doesn't impact XRP, right? It's just they're just people and they're part of Ripple. And that doesn't really impact me or my XRP, but it's still part of the big dark cloud, right? It's the cloud's opening up even more, right? In December of 2020, I can't put into words of how dark that was. Like, I've conducted surveys in here to ask when did people come into this market. Like 2/3 of you guys came in during, the exciting time of the market in 2021. I can't put into words how dark it was in December of 2020. And there are people who are seriously dealing with post-traumatic stress of that. It was unbelievably traumatizing when all of that occurred at that time. And then not only did it occur just to XRP, it occurred 5 days after Bitcoin broke out into the all-time high. You ask anybody who's been around in this market and done very serious research of this market, It's that when Bitcoin breaks into an all-time high, it's an epic time of the market. And that was no different there in 2020 because that's when Ethereum broke out. It's when the altcoins broke out. It's when everything happened. And one particular asset got attacked by the SEC at one time. And we saw like a 75, 80% just crash happen immediately after the SEC did that, and every exchange delisted. It was a very traumatizing time. And it was such a massive storm of hurricanes and tornadoes mixed together in dark, dark times. And that has lasted for 3 years. And, you know, watching the storm subside to it just becoming, you know, sprinkling to where it's no longer raining anymore. And the dark clouds fading and the sun is starting to come through, but there's still those couple of clouds still sitting there with the lawsuits overhanging on Chris and Brad, which are now gone. And then lastly, you know, getting through the final part where, you know, Ripple settles with the SEC or pays their fine or does whatever, and we can just completely put the chapter behind us. And we're getting very, very close. And yesterday marked another milestone in that. And we're just almost there. And like Jeremy Hogan had stated, this case is over. And if he was in charge of this case, you know, he'd pretty much be filing everything away and letting his assistants be the ones handling the remainder of this, because that's how far. There's nothing to argue anymore, and we're at the end. So we're getting there, and that feels good. The Dude says, hey, BCB, you said earlier that you don't believe in new highs for Bitcoin, but you believe in a retracement rally to the 702 fib. But what happens after? That's the big question. We'll have to watch the stock market, right? If it'll coincide and if that's the end, right? That's the $1 million question on anything. So you have to understand what a retracement is, right? Price tends to move back to retracements. Then at the retracement, the market decides, will it get through or will it reject? And so my bias has been that we'll get back to retracement levels. And my guess has been that we'll get rejected by them. But the reality is we have to wait for the market to say it. But I've remained consistent over the years through all of this that we'll get there. Doesn't matter if we were at 20K. Doesn't matter if we were 16K and everybody's screaming for 12. Heading back into retracements, right? It'll never happen. We have 702 likes. In that, you know, people screaming it'll never happen, right? But the market will dictate what happens at the retracement levels. I will always have the conviction that we'll go back to retracement levels, but you know what happens there. You know, you just got to kind of let the market tell us what's going to happen there and wait for something to play out. Crypto Lingua says, I think I have decided to hit the like button. Thank you. All right. Thank you, the dude. Taylor W says, morning, sir. Curious, when rates cuts happened in the past, was it usually before or after stock market turning down? Wondering if one leads the other, or if it's a mixed bag. Thanks for everything. I'll pull this up really quick. We've gone through this quite a few times, but it's been a little while, and maybe not everybody has seen that. So we can put the federal funds rate up on here. So looking at the last 23 years, right? We'll do this. As we can see, as the Fed was paused on the federal funds rate, the market did okay, right? Big rally up, paused in the federal funds rate, still doing okay in here, right? Then the Fed starts cutting, and as it's cutting, downtrend ensues, right? Rate hikes come in, market still rallies into rate hikes. As the pause happens, what do? We break out into the high. We've looked at this many times, right? And the similarities between this whole thing compared to all of this right in here, right? Fed pauses right here, rallies, Fed starts cutting, and boom, then we start really plunging down. But I mean, you could look at it real close and say, look, here's where the cut actually happens. There's a fall, then there is one little new high that happens here into the start of the cutting. But notice that the start of the cutting that happens in here does not trigger a bull run, which is the misconception that most people have, is that we start some crazy bull run when the Fed starts cutting. That hasn't been the case. It's actually been the precursor to something bad happening. And in this circumstance right here, we don't get a new high once the cut starts. In this circumstance, we do get a slight new high when the cut starts. And in this circumstance right here, where the first cuts start happening, we do again, just like we did back in here, get a little bit of a new high, a little bit of a new high, and then the market falls out from itself and back tests its broken out support level. Previous resistance turned to support, right? But here you go. The cuts are starting in here. We get one more rally, and then everything hits the fan. All right. So none of these circumstances for the last 23, 24 years indicate that cutting starts a bull run, right? You can go back further in time, and then you kind of start guessing differently as the macro uptrend just kind of continues going on. But if we use the last 23 years, and if we use the last 3 examples, cutting was a precursor to bad. And in 2 of these circumstances, slider highs did get set once the cuts did start, but it was not sustainable and did not create a macro uptrend afterwards. It was the precursor to big falls. This is the .com bubble. So if we change this to like the NASDAQ, right? Right. Here you go. Pause. It's different over here on the NASDAQ, right? Rise, pause. And the cutting is happening because S is hitting the fan, right? Here, cutting, one slight new high once cutting starts, and then great financial crisis, right? NASDAQ held up much better during the C19 sell-off, though, right? So here we go. Here's cutting. Cutting happens. One new high. S hits the fan. Although NASDAQ did hold up significantly better during the C19. Like the Dow came all the way down here. Whereas you can see right here, we only got right there for the NASDAQ. So imagine aggressiveness all the way down another 20% or so. But either way, cuts have not been precursors to bulls. They have been precursors to really bad. And if we're like the luckiest thing in the world, the thing that I'd be looking for, if we start getting cuts and if the market starts getting really euphoric about the cuts, like excited, yay, things are going to be okay, things are going to be great, that rally that is presented there at the beginning of the cuts, historically, if you get a new high after the cut has begun, was just a kind of a final exit rally. And so if that happens, if we get cuts and if we see the market go euphoric into the cut, for me, I will be treating that as this is the beginning of doom. But yeah, there you go. I think it's a good question. Hawkeye, thank you, BCB and the 702 crew. Crypto is a crazy journey, and I'm thankful to share it with you. Happy Friday. It is a absolute insane journey, and it always has been. Not a minute of it hasn't been. Haya Folker says, I came in August of 2020 and I got my family into XRP in November of 2020 and the SEC lawsuit was shattering. Yes. Yes. And it was so surprising, right? Because price of XRP was even acting as it should into a bull run. You had Bitcoin starting to shoot up to the all-time high. You had XRP finally breaking out. Right. You finally had, let's do this. Right. Yeah. XRP finally, here's our trend, right? Here we are in November and December of 2020. Bitcoin's finally breaking out. This is exactly what we did back in here as Bitcoin's getting ready to break out into an all-time high. Bitcoin breaks out into an all-time high. And then the SEC says, not today. Not today. It was brutal. Meanwhile, you're watching things like Ethereum continue like it should, breaking out with Bitcoin. You're watching all these altcoins going and breaking with Bitcoin. Meanwhile, at the exact same time, every exchange is saying, hey, we're delisting XRP and no longer trading. And then you had Grayscale XRP Trust say, right? I cannot recall if it was here. I think it was here. Here in January of 2021, Grayscale liquidates their XRP trust. Grayscale liquidate XRP trust. Let's see if we can find anything on the news. Grayscale Investments begins the dissolution of XRP Trust, citing the Ripple SEC lawsuit on January 13th of 2021. That happened, man. That was rough. But fortunately, we weren't caught in the web of crud with the kind of like the downfall of Grayscale happening there with a lot of their stuff. And we don't have to sit here worrying about Grayscale liquidating anything. They did it already. But all right, thanks, Haya. Christina Johnson, member for 4 months. Hit the likes and subscribes, everybody. Here we go, subscribes. Yeah, if you are, I don't ever say that. If you are not subscribed to this channel and you want just absolutely awesome content, subscribe. All right. Lino Sayek says, hey, BCB, thank you for being here. What price will indicate that Bitcoin won't pause for a bit and then go? Well, I mean, you're just looking for breakouts of retracements, right? That's kind of where we're at. Breaking from the retracement levels. But all daily moving averages are broken and the 200-week moving average is broken as well. So, I mean, of course, you're probably wanting to see, if you kind of like just kind of theorize, like, what would something like this represent? Why would something like this pause for like 2 weeks in here? And I'm not predicting it well, because I'm not going to be a sucker and predict the time. I'll get it wrong. But if you could imagine 2 weeks in here, what would actually happen? It would be one, that we would close a weekly candle above the 200-week moving average. 2, we would spend another weekly candle coming back to backtest the weekly average, right? Right. So we also got through. Wait, look at that. Hey, look at that. What is this? The 100-week moving average? Hey, how about that? All right. That's the first time. Hold on. Look at that. Every weekly moving average, guys. How about that? So what would happen if you closed the week here and then you had one red week afterwards? You'd essentially be finding support on top of all of the moving averages for 1 week. And then you'd be lifting off, right? And then taking off from there. So like you could like kind of visually see a pause for 2 weeks could make sense, because you get, first of all, you get the weekly candle closes that closes above all weekly levels for the first time in forever. We haven't closed a weekly candle above since the Luna collapse here. We haven't been above the 100-week moving average. So you'd kind of close 1 week here, close 1 week as a back test, and then the next week you could get marching your way up. So that's how I could like reasonably create a story to go with time stopping for 2 weeks here. But yeah, so hopefully, so I think the first step is like, let's at least get the weekly close up in here. But if we go plowing through all the retracement levels, then see ya. Moneyman says, I've been missing in action for 2 years. Is $10 to $13 per XRP still next bull run? Well, if you go to so right? We're just drawing out fibs, right? If you go to a 4.236 extension like Bitcoin and Ethereum did, which also catches you up to Ethereum's market cap, we've run the numbers. We did them last week. We did them this week. A 4.236 extension on XRP's market cap is like a $9.76 XRP price. And again, that's if you went there today. The more time that elapses, the more supply hits the market, right? It has a 7% annual inflation rate. So the more supply that hits the market and the longer that it takes, that number ticks down like 10 cents every month, right? We just kind of watch it. And that's a rough estimate. Maybe it's 15 cents every month that it just kind of keeps ticking down. So the market cap currently today is like $9.76. Plastic Crypto with a super chat, first timer, no message, but thank you very much. It's very generous. I appreciate it. Wigma Pool 182, member for 13 months. At what level or price for Bitcoin and XRP do you get super excited? Well, I get excited for Bitcoin above 32,000. I mean, that's just leaving the range because then, I've talked about this a lot, and I talked about this in the video that I'm going to be releasing today, just briefly. But, I've gone through my emotional log with you guys before, having gone through this, right? And I'll take all these moving averages off here. Having gone through all of this, in my emotional log, which people who subscribe to my newsletter, which I might as well show my newsletter, blockchainbacker.substack.com, when we were right here, the emotions were still very similar to what they are currently right now, in that, you were despondent, not trusting the rally. I remember when this rally happens. I've got it documented in my emotional log. Here, I'll pull my emotional log up and we're going to read it together. Emotional log. Is it this one? No, but we'll find it. Cryptocurrency. There we go. Okay. Let's go find August 2nd. Or excuse me, April 2nd. I'm going to have to bleep out all the profanity that I use in here because this channel is very PG. April 1st is when I'm writing this thing. Is this on April 1st? April 2nd. Maybe I got my date wrong. Okay. Here's what I wrote in my emotional log. Let me preface this by saying none of this is an April Fool's Day joke. Here, let's do this too so you kind of understand. Okay. Here's the market. Here's this day. Let me preface this by saying none of this is an April Fool's Day joke. So everything is breaking out. All long-term resistances are being broken. Bitcoin is at 4,130, so we must have just started the breakout at the time of writing this. However, I have no positive emotions about this. This has happened over and over and over again, where it just teases that the bottom is in, gives a great bounce, and then the bottom falls out of the market. I have absolutely no positive emotions or FOMO emotions right now. Well, I don't have any FOMO, mainly because I'm fully entered into the market, but I'm not sitting here jumping up and down saying I'm going to be rich. There is still a long ways to go, and I have no clue if this is the bottom yet. Time will tell. But we are seeing some positive developments over the last few months. Let's see if it can keep it up and get some follow through. I would expect one more completely terrifying fall back down to support just to confirm there are buyers there, but we'll see. That never came, right? We'll hit play. All right, let's go to right about here, April 12th. Okay, so I didn't type anything in here for the last 10 days. However, Bitcoin had a big breakout and the rest of the market went up with it. However, I did not feel anything emotionally about it, so I didn't type anything in here. Bitcoin reached up to $5,400, pretty big jump. It's still at $5,050 as I'm writing this. However, I'm skeptical of it. I do not feel any FOMO. I do not feel any excitement. I have more concern than excitement, as if we are preparing for a complete tumble. I don't know, but I might as well update this. Bitcoin popped up on April 2nd to $5,000 and has held this level for over a week. We shall see what comes next. May 2nd. Wow, it's been a while since I've updated this. About 3 weeks. Not much has happened. Bitcoin is sitting at about $5,400, kind of just waiting for the next move. I expect a nasty fall back down, but it's taking a while to do it. There's a bunch of Bitfinex drama regarding Tether. But that's kind of normal at this point if you've been in this space for a few years. There's always been drama about Tether. Here I am in 2019, guys, saying that there's been drama about Tether for years. So I don't really know what to think of it. I'm certain that when the fall does happen, they will use Tether drama as a catalyst for the fall, if the fall happens. But yeah, Tether and the fall will go hand in hand. Either way, I'm just sitting tight. I haven't bought anything new in the last few months. I'm looking to make more entries on that fall if we get it. I would buy Bitcoin in that 3,100 to 3,500 range and some altcoins, but we'll see if that ever happens. We're getting there, guys. You'll see my point. May 11th. Bitcoin just broke above $7,000. I'm starting to get very excited, which is dangerous. But I have to update this because it does not feel like someone is standing on my chest any longer. It feels exciting. It feels thrilling. It feels hopeful. And hope is a dangerous, dangerous thing in the world of markets. But I need to update this now because I'm getting excited and that needs to be documented. It was so dang gloomy buying during the 3000s. My next update will hopefully be a continuation of this. May 13th, Bitcoin crossed $8,000. This is amazing. I'm expecting a pullback for $9,800 to $6,000, but it appears the bear market is over. So right, here we go. May 2nd, I'm excited. May 13th, I'm saying the bear market's over. May 28th, Bitcoin's now at $8,700. My portfolio is doing very well. I'm not sure what it's worth right now, but somewhere, I'm not going to say that number. I expect a scary shakeout with Bitcoin from about $9,800 back down to $6,000 to get all the weak hands out of the market. I will buy a small amount of coins at that time, but it's probably the end of my cryptocurrency buying career. I would probably only add about 3 to 5% whatever I currently have. It will now be all about holding as long as I can until it's time to start being a seller at higher prices. Emotionally, it feels pretty good right now. That absolutely horrible feeling of November through March has faded, but I'll never forget how awful it was. That was a very terrible 5 months. I was buying and everyone made me feel like an idiot, calling for $1,200 Bitcoin. I felt like I was throwing away money. I still don't know if I did. It could come back down to $3,000 over again. I don't know, but things are looking positive, and I'll take a small stab at $6,000 if we get it. June, all right, it was just, here we go. June 26th. June 22nd. Bitcoin just crossed $11,000 for a short time this morning. June 26th. One Bitcoin is worth $13,000. Okay, what's the point of all this and what I'm saying here? Let's go back here in May. May 2nd. Okay, that is right here. Wow, it's been a while since I've updated this, about 3 weeks. Not much has happened. Bitcoin is sitting about $5,400, kind of just waiting for the next move. I expect a nasty fall down, but it's taking a while. There's a bunch of Bitfinex drama regarding Tether, and that's kind of normal to see at this point if you've been in this space for a few years. There's always been drama about Tether, so I really don't know what to think of it. I'm certain that when the fall does happen, they will use Tether drama as a catalyst for the fall, if the fall happens. But yeah, Tether and the fall will go hand in hand. Either way, I'm just sitting tight. I haven't bought anything new in the last couple of months. I'm looking to make a few more entries if that fall happens and if we get it. May 11th. Bitcoin just broke above $7,000 and I'm starting to get very excited. That is the moment in time. You can tell my mood entirely changes upon the break of right in here. I go from doomer, depressed dude, who feels irresponsible, stupid, and like an idiot, and talking down on myself, and then I turn into YOLO excited guy. And that all happens right here on this break, right? That's where we are in the market right now. Notice, right? The capitulation, right? There's your little nub. Capitulate. We get back to the nub, and it's the break above there that gets so exciting. Notice similar price behavior, just on a much smaller scale of what we have right now. Like imagine what we've been doing stretched out over 200 days, right? And like we're like right there, right? This is kind of what we've done for the last 200 and something days, holding the support levels at the lows, right? Here we are back at the nub. At nub, there you go. But you clearly see my emotions change here on that break. And so your question was, at what level for Bitcoin and XRP will you get super excited? You can clear the market. I've spent a lot of time studying emotions and documenting my own emotions, and having this YouTube channel, getting a completely different insight into emotions of the market, because I see it when people are yelling at me. When prices are low, they're yelling at me, and the toxicity is absolutely out of control, and they're screaming for 12K. I can tell the emotions are swung really far one way, and then you can see it when it swings the other way at the same time. I think the market would get incredibly excited above these prices right here, above 32,000, just based on what I have been through. The problem is going to be trying to solve the puzzle at that point, because it will be that, in 2019, obviously we still kept rampaging a lot beyond that, right? A similar rampage like that, I mean, it gets you up into the all-time highs practically. I know that's hard to wrap your head around, but we know that this ending, right? You know how these prices have behaved, right? It would just be like rampaging up, and you could see, right? Like, if you guys have been around for a long time, you've definitely seen that this is how we behaved to move down, right? Where did all that pausing happen? It all happened back over here, right? As we worked our way back. And that's the level that we've been stuck at this whole time, right? So I think the market would get very excited on the breakup there, but solving the puzzle at that point on, is this the start of something bigger? Is this the start of a big retrace that's going to go into an all-time high like this did? I'm not speculating that is what will happen, but I think there will be big challenges next. On the break, that's where the 12Kers are going to capitulate. They're done. They're going to be done. They would YOLO back into the market, and I just know that based on my own personal documentations of going through these types of things, and where did I stop that doubt? Where did I start getting really excited when I only had a couple of years underneath my belt in this market? And that's where it all happened at, was right there. So I won't likely get I'm going to do my best not to get super excited, but just be mindful of where the excitement is in the market. Sure, there will be points in time where I'm excited. I'm happy that we got through the 32K, right? That'll be something that I would be excited about, because it would prove all the doomers wrong. What happens, you get a lot of other content creators who create stuff, and then their entire audiences come over here to tell you you're wrong and to regurgitate what the other content creators are saying. That's always annoying. And that's not the other content creators' fault. Let me make that clear, because I know that it happens to them too, right? The blockchain backer says this. What do you have to say to that, right? They get the same thing in return. So it's not their fault. I don't ever send people to do that. I don't think people send people to do that to me too. At least I would hope not. But that's just part of it. And it feels, redemption, or, whatever the word is to get the break. And so I would be excited to see 32K break just because we just spent 200 days of fighting against 12Kers and to get through that. But then, then the next phase of challenge comes, right? Just because you move up a level, it does not mean we move up instant all-time high. YouTube videos will tell you that. Twitter will tell you that, because that's what's going to get you engagement. That's what's going to bring in the money for content creators, is to scream all-time high. That's why they did it all up here. That's why they said we're going to 12K down here. That's the engagement. You move up, we're going to new all-time highs, right? That's going to be the thing. But we're going to have challenges all the way up. And so I try to keep the level head. One, I'll be excited for 32K to break, because finally we're out of the range. We do know that things like the NDXT, which is what I wrote my entire newsletter about, right? Is Bitcoin a technology, or is Bitcoin a money? And price action would say that we act in line with tech. And one thing to keep in mind is, we even saw the same consolidation happen on top of that level there for tech, right? And then tech ended up continuing higher. And where did tech continue to? This is not accurate. We're going to go to the actual chart. It's 702 Fibonacci retracement, right? You could see tech has the same consolidation structure that we have, and then it shifts up to the retracement levels. So shifting up to the next level is what, I'm looking forward to. And I'd be excited to leave this range, but just because I'm excited to leave this range doesn't mean I don't then start looking forward to say, okay, now where's the next area of concern? And you know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at. I spent a lot of time answering your question, going through emotional logs and everything like that. But I wanted to kind of show you that the market, probably the entire market, would get very excited on a break above 32K. It's where everybody's going to sing Kumbaya. Everybody's going to hold hands with each other. We're all going to apologize for how mean we were to each other. We're going to clean up our side of the streets. And we're going to say, I didn't mean any of that stuff when I told you I wanted to hunt you down in my Twitter feed. I mean, I get crazy stalkers, man. I get crazy ones, dude. And then, then everybody's singing Kumbaya. That is the level that it happens at, right? And then we just have to look for the next level. So, okay, moving on. I do like it when we get out of where I'm not having crazy stalkers. That is nice. I mean, I've got guys who dedicate their whole life to it. They've got multiple accounts. They put my profile picture on their account. It's insane. Insane. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up to where I'm at. As for XRP, I mean, just any price movement probably feels good. But, none of it matters till we break out an all-time high. We got to get through, retracement levels. You got to get through $2, right? $2 is that 702 retracement for XRP's market cap. We got to get through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, the whole thing up will be exciting to get out of these, below $1. But, that's not the end of I haven't been in this thing for years for that, right? I'm here for the real deal. JR, do you think we've cut 4 months off the bear market like Ben does? I don't know what Ben has to say, but I've told you guys very specifically the 4-year cycle is baloney. The last cycle was only 3 years and 4 months. Four-year cycle's nonsense. Anthony Trujillo, hit the like. But thank you, JR. Hit Anthony Trujillo. Hit the like button if you love breakfast burritos. And then he gives 5 BCB memberships. Thank you very much, Anthony. And then he says, hit the like button if you love BCB and cuddly kittens. How lovely. Eric Martinson, thank you, man. I know you're a busy man, but you still thank you very much. Gifted 5 BCB memberships. And Andy Philpott. Andy, thank you very much, guys. 5 BCB members. 702 crew is strong, man. And Anthony Trujillo says, show your support with 1,000 likes. We're already there. Dang. What a day. And we're at 1 hour and 4 minutes. What a time to wrap it up. All right, guys. That's going to be it for today. Let's see how the stock market's doing. You getting yourself together? No, you're just losing it. Get all that off there. Stock market still in Sergeant Struggle mode, but oh boy. You got gold going and you got silver. Really, silver's having a great day. Wow, silver's up over 2%. Cool. Cool. Dollar down 106.16. Still can't break below that 106 level. Right here. Gold touches another new little high, right? Yeah, there you go. There goes gold again. And silver. Hey, there you go, silver. Big move up for silver as well. Up 53 cents in a day. Whew. Boy, I did grab some, fortunately, right in here. Boy, I didn't think we'd get that fast, back that fast. All right. There we go, guys. This is what we'll be watching throughout the weekend. Keep your eyes out for a video, hopefully released within the next 30 minutes here regarding Bitcoin's price action and everything going on in here. It's an exciting time, but we still have some work we have to do. We still have another price level we have to get through to get to where everybody's holding hands and we're all telling each other we love each other. And right now we're at retracement levels, so a little bit more. But it feels good that all the people who were screaming for 12K, you know, I don't have any tips for you. I'm not going to give you any tips. You know, you can either buy a support and treat that as your invalidation, or sell a support and then have to fumble back in higher. You know, that's your thing, man. And I'm not going to tell you what you should do. This is where it gets super tough for those people. And I'm not in that boat. I'm not here to tell you any of those people what they should do. Go talk to your people who were telling you we're going to 23K, 20K, 12K, and let them tell you what to do. If you sold the support and now you find yourself, you don't know what to do back in here. Because right now we're back at resistance levels. This is retrace levels. This is where the challenges are. This is where big breakouts can happen or big pullbacks can happen in here. And this is the wait and see, right? We just need the market to tell us what we're going to do now as we've gotten all the way back here. But this is likely the thing that nobody saw coming. Death cross. We're doomed. Just kidding. Let's effing go. All right, guys, 1,121 likes. It's nice to see the sentiment and the mood is returning a little bit back. We still have a little bit of work to do over here for things to get really ramped up, but hopefully throughout the weekend we can get that. If not, if we don't get it throughout the weekend, it's not the end of the world. We already talked about these types of things. A pause in here would be normal and appropriate to happen, right? Something more like along these lines in here as we are back in the retracement levels. What would a 2-week pause look like if it did? Again, I'm not predicting it. I'm not going to predict time. But if it did pause here, right? If people are like saying, I have to FOMO buy right now because we're breaking out. Why would a 2-week pause make logical sense to happen? One, it would get you a pullback to back test. The breakout of the moving averages, right? Not only your 100-day, 50-day, and 200-day daily moving averages, but now we've just crossed through the 100-week moving average. It would also be a back test of all of these moving averages together. And then the next week you could get yourself soaring, which would not be so inappropriate to happen in here. So just kind of keeping that in mind and expectations. If you're like super YOLO excited today, sure, we all are. We're just excited to see some upward price action, but that would be a very normal, typical behavior to happen in there. Otherwise, guys, thank you all so much for being here. Anthony Trujillo again says, the Frog Friday, please. We missed Wednesday. I came in on Wednesday. I'm sorry, guys. You have to do the markets in the afternoon. Everybody wants the Frog. Do I have the Frog ready to go? Do I still have the Frog window open? No, I don't have it ready, do I? Let me see. No, I don't have it ready. Do I? You know I do.
It is Wednesday, my
There we go. Happy Friday, everybody, on a positive day in the market. We did that. Normally, I would never do that on a Friday, but it was because we had technical difficulties on Wednesday. We didn't have markets in the morning. We had markets in the afternoon, and not everybody could catch it. So some of you guys needed your weak frog fix. Got you going, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Again, you can check out blockchainbacker.substack.com. Is a premium paid newsletter that I do write twice a month in here. There's a link there in the description. Of course, follow me over here on Twitter. Is the only social media that I have at BCBacker. I don't use anything else. And then, of course, check out bcbacker.com. Also post the direct teachable link here in the chat right now. If you're looking for something to do throughout the weekend and catch more content from me, more videos from me, available right here on bcbacker.com. Guys, thank you all so much. Matt Smith says it's go time, baby. Thanks, BCB, for everything. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it, brother. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Keep your eyes out for a video to be released by me within the next hour where we talk more in depth about Bitcoin, and then we'll try to get something out either later today or by tomorrow morning regarding XRP and stuff going on over there. I want to thank you all for your support. I would thank you all for tuning in. I hope you had a wonderful week. It looks like we're ending the week right, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream. Please give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.